What are the features you should look out for in a custom keyboard? There are actually quite a number of features to look out for in a custom keyboard. So if you're looking to get your first custom keyboard, hopefully this video will be a good guide to helping you pick your first keyboard. The keyboard I'll be using for this video is the RD75 by Vermeer. We have a 75% layout here, which has been really popular amongst most companies recently. 75% is, in my opinion, the perfect balance between form and function. It maintains a good amount of keys that most people would regularly use and still maintains a small size that fits on your desk. Secondly, this keyboard is made from aluminum. Usually within the $30 to $50 range, we would find plastic or ABS keyboards. But if you do have the extra budget, I would recommend going for aluminum board. Even if it's your first keyboard, I think an aluminum board is a really good way to start. Now, this keyboard comes pre-assembled with double-shot PPT keycaps and Vermeer palm switches. In terms of quality and comparison to the Rainy 75, this RD75 is definitely a little better in terms of workmanship and quality of the case compared to the Rainy 75. Now, for connection, we have triple mode connection: wired, wireless 2.4 GHz, or Bluetooth. I know for a fact that triple mode connection is something that is really important to some of you guys who prefer using your keyboards wirelessly. So do take note on whether the keyboard you are planning to buy does have triple mode connection. Anyway, the receiver is actually very neatly kept at the back of the board behind this badge, and as for our Bluetooth switch, we have it right below our caps lock key. I believe those are the main features you would look out for externally. But before we get into the internal features, here's how the board sounds in its stock configuration. Now, I can't say I'm a huge fan of these switches that are pre-installed. They are a little bit scratchy and I feel like I have tried better pre-assembled boards. But we move on to our internal features. To start things off, ball catch system. A really popular feature in most keyboards recently. This allows the keyboard case to be basically screwless. You can disassemble or assemble the board simply by lifting or pushing on the top cover. And this is one of my favorite features. And I can understand that some of you do not see a need for it, but definitely for those of you who already own a keyboard and you do like to mod or you do like to configure your keyboard every once in a while, then I do think that this ball catch system is a very big game changer for you. Now we move on to our PCB sandwich. For foam, we have the basic PE, plate and PCB foam. These are the three standard foams that you would want in a custom keyboard kit to be able to configure how you want your keyboard to sound. Most keyboards nowadays do come with these three pieces of foam, but just in case a keyboard you find somehow doesn't have it, then just take note that these are the three pieces of foam you might want to consider getting to configure how your board sounds. Our PCB is a 5-pin hot swappable PCB. I'm pretty sure most PCBs are 5-pin hot swappable nowadays. And if you're completely new, I'm going to put it in very simple terms. With a 5-pin hot swappable PCB, this allows you to put in any switches you want and change them out anytime you want without any soldering whatsoever. This PCB does have support for screw-in stabilizers, which is definitely the preferred option when it comes to building a keyboard. Screw-in stabilizers provide for a little more stability over plate-mounted stabilizers. So although it does support screw-in stabilizers, most keyboards nowadays come with plate-mounted stabilizers. But most stabilizers right out of the box nowadays sound amazing, and I don't see a need that we should install screw-in stabilizers when it's working perfectly fine. So yeah. Next is VIA support. This one is pretty important. VIA is a universal software that is commonly used amongst custom keyboards. It basically allows you to remap your keys or configure your RGB. For our plate, we have a FR4 plate with a bunch of flex cards. It's a lot of flex cards and I'm honestly not a huge fan of flex cards. I typically prefer lesser flex cards or basically no flex cards at all, but if you don't know what these flex cards are for, they basically provide you with a more flexible typing experience, or some would like to say softer typing experience. But this also brings me to mounting. The mounting for this keyboard is silicone gasket mounted, and if you wanted to change it out, you can change it out to the bean mount. They do provide some beans. The bean mount provides for a lot more flex, a little less stable, but if you like your soft typing experience, bean mount is your way. For a final feature on this keyboard and feature on keyboards in general, it is a magnetic daughter board. I wouldn't say this feature is essential to everyone. Similar to the ball catch system, if you guys are someone who likes to play around with your ball a lot, you want to open it up, you want to configure it, you want to change your foam, you wanna do some kind of mod to it, then having a magnetic daughterboard and the ball catch system will change your life. It will change your life. With a magnetic daughterboard and the ball catch system, this basically allows the keyboard to not have any wires. It has no cables, it has no screws. It's a screwless, it's like tool-free design. You literally just use your hands. So those are all the features I think you should look out for if you're looking for your first custom keyboard. And all those features that I mentioned are available in the RD75. But I'm definitely not a huge fan of how it sounded in its stock configuration, so I'm gonna provide you with some sound tests. The first one I'm gonna try out is a foamless build, and secondly, I'm gonna mod it to my own liking. For a modded version, I'll be going with the Hyacinth switches. A 5-pin linear switch creates a clacky poppy sound profile, really smooth and enjoyable to type on. I also changed out my keycaps for GMK Devoted to give it a look I prefer. And here's how the keyboard sounds. So this is the RD75. I would say this is basically the perfect keyboard for a beginner. With all the features it has and it's priced at $89 and all the basic accessories you would need, I think this keyboard is perfect for someone who is venturing into custom keyboards, or maybe if you just want to upgrade your keyboard, I think this keyboard is really good. And since it has most of the newer features that have slowly been integrated into the keyboard scene, this makes the keyboard building experience really smooth. But the one thing I would complain about this keyboard is the foamless build. I wouldn't recommend doing a completely foamless build. I would recommend a plate foam at the bare minimum. Having the plate foam between the plate and the PCB is gonna be a game changer for your fingers. With the amount of flex cuts on the plate and the PCB without any foam, it's gonna take you a very long time to install all your switches properly. So trust me, install your plate foam even if you want to do a foamless build. But aside from that, this keyboard is honestly pretty good. If you guys are interested, it's an easy recommendation. It will be linked down below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, comment your thoughts on this video down below, and comment your thoughts on maybe some features that you want to see in newer custom keyboards. Aside from that, subscribe if you enjoy my content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!